I can do it on Ukrainian, actually. Ah, nice. Okay, so now we have recording for those people who really wanted to attend, but somehow forgot to join the Zoom call. And yeah, so maybe I will make a short introduction on Ukrainian and then we can continue.
Yes.
Окей. Так, шановні колеги, ті, хто доєднався, дякую вам ще раз за те, що ви знайшли час приділити увагу цій розмові. І кілька слів про Алехандру. Насправді це дуже цікава особистість. Це людина, з якою я працювала в одній компанії. Вона 17 років працювала в компанії Шлюмберже на різних позиціях. Ну і ви знаєте, що Шлюмберже – це компанія технічна, тому дуже велика специфіка роботи саме з людьми, і людина має розуміти потреби людей і знаходити правильні рішення, які можуть задовольнити питання клієнтів. Тобто це дуже специфічна робота, і Алехандра працювала на цілих 6 позиціях в компанії, тобто вона знає абсолютно все, що стосується сервісів і специфіки роботи саме в великих сервісних компаніях. І буквально нещодавно ми всі дізналися, що Алехандра переходить від нас в неприбуткову організацію, яка називається, зараз в мене тут навіть десь написано, так, Platform Talent for Technology, тобто це неприбуткова організація, яка, як я зрозуміла, займається пошуком талантів і розвитком різних якостей людей, які працюють в галузі і не тільки. Тому я думаю, що ми сьогодні почуємо багато цікавої інформації англійською мовою від Алехандри стосовно того, які якості допомогли їй добитися успіхів в кар'єрі і працювати абсолютно на різних посадах, в різних компаніях в різний час. Okay, Alejandra, I made just a very, very short intro that we worked together for quite a long time in the service company, and you worked there on different positions, and you know which skills helped you to understand the customers, and not only understand the customers, but also switch job easily and go to the nonprofit organization. So yeah, we're really excited to listen to your presentation today and to learn more about which skills you think are useful in the career path and might help others. Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Anastasia, and the whole of the Central Ukraine section. It is my absolute honor to be speaking to you. As again, although I'm maybe not blue from SLB anymore, I am still blue from SPE because I'm still an SPE member, although I switched away from our industry for the moment. So what I want to do this afternoon is give you a very brief, let's say, overview of the way that I manage my career. Not that you should copy it. Let's be very clear about that. It is just one example of a career that you could have. But one of the things that, as Anastasia was saying, one of the things that I have believed in my whole career is that you should take opportunities, even if they're scary and you think you can't do them, just do them anyway. If there's one thing you have to, if you should remember from my talk, it is that. So you just go for it, and then if you have the right learning spirit, then nothing can stop you down. It is quite a short presentation, so I did that on purpose because I thought that it would be good to have a more discussion than just me, boring you with my life story. So yeah, for me, as you see in this in my first slide, you can see.
Are you sharing something?
I'm not sure.
We can see.
Sorry.
Only your.
You only see my hand.
Yeah, we can only see you talking.
Maybe I should press the button share instead of only selecting it.
Yeah, something's
happening. Now I see the.
Okay.
Now I see the.
So let's wait for a few more seconds.
Yes.
I believe the picture will appear.
Yeah, and then this should. Why is it? There you go. You also see that annoying thing on top, or?
Yeah, I can see this annoying thing on top. If I click OK, what will happen? In my case, annoying thing disappeared.
Okay, excellent. So as you can see here, I thought I would also bring you back a little bit to the origin of the title about superpowers. Those of you who know me for a long time, they know that I am a very, very enthusiastic superhero lover. And that love for superheroes started at a very young age, because as you can see here, this little Alejandra with her self-made Superman suit, that is when I was 5 years old. So from that moment on, I really wanted to have superpowers. I wanted to make the world better, and I believed I could do anything. And yeah, that has helped me a lot in some difficult moments sometimes of my life. So if we think about the different elements of your career, right? All of you, Anastasia, if I understand correctly, everybody in the call is a master student or bachelor?
No, we might have some students. We also have the lecturer.
Okay, very good. So that
So not all the people on the call are students. They used to be students at some point of time. Yeah, so we used to be students, all of us, but now we are on the different career path.
Exactly. So student professionals, it doesn't matter in whether you're early career or later career. I think in my opinion, for me, my career always consisted of 5 different skills that you can put in different buckets. One is the technical skills, which is, well, obvious, right? That is what you studied and what you're good at, what you want to pursue as a, let's say, job title, let's say it like that. Then you have the soft skills, which, well, some people have them naturally. For some, it takes a little bit more time to get used to them. But for me, I always think it's a little bit stupid that they're called soft skills, because for me, there's nothing soft about them. They're absolutely very powerful. And one of the soft skills that I have been hammered upon was presentation skills and interpersonal skills, right? So how to make good teams, how to present yourself, how to be able to bring across a message. I think that is an essential part of your career, and that will evolve, and you will get better when you're doing the 600 client presentation in front of an audience. Then there is the personal talents parts, which is unique for each and every one of us, right? Personal talent is one talent is not better than the other, right? Some people really are very, like very good in analytics, and they really like to dive into very, very detailed things. Other people, they like to be more focused on the social part of a problem or the human aspect of a problem. Others really like the sort of the strategic part, to make, like to look at the dynamics of groups, or others are absolutely talented in financial challenges and financial problems. I am not one of those persons, but so everybody of us have personal talents, and some of you know them already. Sometimes it takes a bit of a reflection to get to them and to understand them. And there are many, many tools around, also sometimes in company, right? Anastasia, inside SLB, we had the several types of personality tests, and you get a sticker, right? Okay, you're enthusiastic extrovert, or you are a very analytical introvert. And then, like it's just a category, but sometimes for some people that really helps them to reflect upon themselves and see, like, what is it, what I really, really like. Then there is the network. So when you are a student, I know networking, or even in your early career, networking sounds like something scary and something like, oh, why should I do that? And that's not for geoscientists, right? That's only for for lawyers and people in politics and those kind of things. But your network is an asset. And wherever you go in your life, that network sticks with you. If you are friendly to people, of course. If you're not friendly to people, then the network can also turn against you. And then there is the ambition part. And I think that in the career, especially for young professionals, or when you are at university, the ambition part is quite present. Maybe not so much from your own, but from the environment, right? Your parents, they want you to do well, or you start in a company and you want to do well, and you want to be the CEO of the company one day. That is the type of ambitions that you can have. And I think that in the current situation in our world, I'm very happy to see that ambition has also got a different type of definition, that it's not only about climbing the ladder, or like being the manager of more and more and more and more people, or getting more and more money, but that nowadays, especially the younger generations, for you, ambition can be achieving a proper work-life balance. It can be like having a very quiet life. You don't need the pressure. That can also be ambition. So it doesn't have to be like more. So those are the elements of your career. And as I said, that inside your career evolution, you can have different evolution of the different elements. So maybe at the beginning of your career, you're not very good yet in technical skills or soft skills. Your personal talents already are there, of course, because you are you. Your network is still small, but your ambition is really like skyrocket. You really, you're being hired. You want to learn everything. Do. So that's the beginning of your career. Then, of course, comes a moment where, in your mid-career, your technical skills have grown, your soft skills has grown, your personal talent has also developed, your network has always developed, but maybe there your ambition is a bit different. That can have different reasons. In my case, it was mainly related when I became a mother, right? I mean, your priorities change completely once that happens, but it can have all different types of reasons why your ambition may be a bit lower at the middle of your career. And then fast forward a couple of years more, then again, maybe your ambition can grow a little bit, and your technical skills, your soft skills, your technical talent, they all keep growing and growing and growing. Why do I say that they keep growing and growing and growing? Because I believe that whatever situation you're in, whatever job you're in, even if you think it's boring, even if you think it's horrible, you always learn something, whether it is something about your company, whether it's something about your technical discipline, or whether it's something about yourself. And if I look at my employers, I have in the 20 years that I've been working full-time, I've had 3 employers in my life. This is, of course, for the younger generations, this will sound ridiculous, because we know that the younger generations will not stick around for that long. So if we look at my first employer, which was the EAGE, I was there for 2 years. At SLB, I was there for 17 years. And then at my new employer, I've literally been 1 month in. Yesterday was my first month. My probation period was over, and they still wanted to have me. So I'm very happy about that. So, and then if you look at the evolution, it has gone from a non-profit organization in the oil and gas realm. Then, of course, a corporate organization in the oil and gas in SLB. And then now I've gone back to nonprofit, but then it's much more general, much more broader around technology encouragement for everyone, from young to the mid-career people. So, of course, the evolution, the different elements in my career have have evolved when going from one employer to the other. But also, especially in SLB, of course, yeah, there have been some important learning moments. And I see that I forgot another crucial moment, but I will get to that. So in a nutshell, if I look at my just as at my SLB career, which is the big part of my life, my crucial learning moments can be summarized in this little timeline. October 2007 was the onboarding of SLB, was the start of my SLB career. As I said, then ambition was high, technical knowledge was like this, personal skills were more or less okay. And 1 second, my son. Oh, ik ben aan het presenteren. Yeah, doe maar. And everything was new, everything was excited, and I wanted to learn more. It was also the first time I attended an SPE Netherlands meeting, so that was my first exposure to the SPE, which was a very crucial part of my career. And I didn't put it there. October 2007 was also the first time in my life ever that I opened up Petrel, which right now it seems like crazy that I was a moment in my life that I didn't know what Petrel was and that you could make models and all of those things. But in October 2007 was the first time. So that was the seed of the skill set that I would continue to use the rest of my career. Then if we go forward a little bit longer, then within SLB, as you may have heard before, there is sort of a graduation project that you have to do before you become a senior. And in my case, it was a project that involved a geothermal project in the south of Germany. So for me, that particular project was not only an eye-opener because I was involved in a project outside of pure oil and gas. But for me, it was also a very important learning moment because it was with a German client. My German was so-so, and I understood very quickly that if I would improve my German, again, if I would remember it better, my German language, that the relationship with my customer would become much better. So there, again, I was talking about soft skills. Languages are soft skills. For me, languages are, the oil that makes everything run. Because the moment that you're able to speak to your colleagues or to your customers in the same language, that makes a hell of a difference. And language is also not only languages from countries, but it's also about the same technical language or the same way of thinking language that you can speak to your customers or colleagues. If you're on the same page, you will get much more done than if you assume that the person that is in front of you understands what you're saying. So one of the soft skills with languages, whether it's technical or a real language, is that you always have to ask, and don't let any assumptions get in the way. Then a huge learning moment came in May 2011, because then I was transferred to France. So that was my first international transfer within SLB. And I was put into a sales position. So I became the account manager of France, Belgium, and Switzerland. I had all of a sudden 70 accounts that I was responsible of. My French was very bad at that particular moment in time. I had never had a sales job before. So again, I told you in the beginning, I had no idea if I could do it, and I just accepted and started doing it anyway. But a big crucial learning moment there was that when you switch careers, there are certain elements, not switch careers, when you switch to a new job, there are certain elements that are going to change. So of course, your job title, the clients that you're going to have to deal with, It could be the language, it could be your location, and it could be the culture. So normally in SLB, when you change to your first big job, normally you change 1 or 2 elements at the same time. In my case, I changed 5 elements at the same time, which was a very big learning moment as saying, don't do that. Or at least for me, that was not a good thing. I had to learn French again. I had to get to know all of these new clients, which I never had seen in my life. France, you know, you would say Netherlands, France, it's only, Paris is 600 kilometers from The Hague, you know, how different can it be? Well, a lot different. And the skill set that was needed to be an account manager was something completely different than being a Petrel support engineer. So in that particular moment in time, I realized that I had taken too much on my plate. And yeah, that was also the reason why that job didn't last that long in my career. Then became June 2013, which was the big learning moment on how it is to become a parent, and then very soon how it is to be a working mom or a working parent. I think that is a crucial moment for me, because then you learn how to understand the different priorities you have in life, and you start getting into the big struggle of how do I balance both of those things, right? Because before you have kids, you know, like, of course, there can be a work balance that may have been disturbed a little bit, but there is nobody else that you're responsible of, right? And once this little one is there, then it takes a different thing and gives you a different perspective as well on your career. In my case, in France, the maternity leave was very well arranged. I was able to take 9 months off and then start again in the Paris office. So they still had a job for me, which was very nice. Then between June 2013 and 2017, I had also another job, which was a technical sales, but it was a little bit, no, it was not that much of a difference than my other jobs before. But the big difference came again in my crucial learning moments in April 2017, when I became for a team lead for the first time. So for the first time in SLB, I was responsible for the lives and well-being of 10 fantastic geoscience colleagues. And when they offered me that job, I was very honored, but I also was scared shitless, because I said, oh my goodness, if, you know, now I am the manager, and, you know, you always are talking at the coffee table about your manager. I said, oh my goodness, now people are going to be talking about me as their manager at the coffee table. So I have to be the best possible manager I can be for my team. So that was my first real management role. And management is something that a lot of people, you know, like, they think, oh yeah, at a certain moment in my career, I really want to be a manager and I want to manage a lot of people, etc. And by all means, if you have that ambition, go for it. But be very cautious in your mind about the skill set that you need to be a successful manager. And within SLB, we had a lot of trainings for those kind of roles. But it takes a lot of experience as well. And then again, the soft skills of the interpersonal skills are the ones that will be the most important in a manager role. 2 more, and then I will go to the next slide. Another crucial one came in February 2020. We were in the midst of the COVID pandemic. And then my learning moment was that even though you are remote, I was able to create a relationship with the customer, doing a very big digital transition project. So that was the first time that I was really like the project manager for a big project with the whole project team. Had to chase them, work with them, and to make the project happen. So for me, that was again a learning moment in not only organizational skills, but also in how to take the most out of your personal skills, to be able to still connect in a digital space. In September 2020, I became the SPE Netherlands chairperson, which is also a learning moment, because one thing is to be the manager of people reporting to you, which, well, let's say it in a very blunt way, in some way they have to listen to you, right? Because they're reporting to you. When you're an SPNL chair, you are working with a whole beautiful team, but they're volunteers. So their time that they give to you is whenever they can and whenever they want to. So when you set out a plan with a group of volunteers, that's a different story than if you set out a plan with a team that is reporting or is working in the same company and has the same, like the same priorities, the same values, the same way of thinking. So it was very nice to have all of these professionals coming from their own different companies, each having their own company culture in their head while they were doing the volunteer work. So for me, that diversity aspect was very, very useful in my career. And then last but not least, in December 2021, I was given the opportunity to do a certification in organizational change management, because that was a step towards my last role at SLB, which was customer success. And that change management certification really clicked in my head about what kind of skills you need when you want to really get a group of people moving from state 1 to a state 2 in the future, and what it will take to make that change happen and sustain that change. So for me, change management, for you, you may think like, oh, that skill set doesn't really come up in my head, but everything you do in your working life or in your personal life has a change management aspect inside of it, because most of us are trying to either for ourselves try to have a new habit, or we want our children to adopt a new habit, or we want to have to help a customer transform from one way of working to the other. So if I would advise you to have a deeper look into a certain skill set, then change management absolutely is something I would recommend. So yeah, in those 17 years of SLB, I could have done a whole set of pictures. This was the slide that I had, the quickest slide I could find about one big, very busy September 2023 with all of these people. I mean, for me, being able to be in SLB with the energy and the type of people that we have, or we had, that SLB has, was basically the reason that I stayed so long. And again, also for the SPE, I had a lot of very, very nice moments that I was able to share with SPE, and a lot of skills that I learned while being part of that. So that is the networking part that I would never have liked to miss. So networking inside my organization, but also networking outside the organization. So in SLB, why did I stay there for almost 70 years? Because the learning culture was always there. If I would have gone into a company that did not, embrace this learning and development, which did not give you any diversity or give you early responsibilities, I don't think I would have lasted that long. And I think that those elements of having this learning culture is something that not all organizations necessarily have. And if they don't have that learning culture, then that is definitely something that we should look for. So for me, having a learning culture inside your company, or at least making it a learning culture for yourself, whether or not your company actively does it, will enable you to grow in each of the 5 different elements of your career, and then hopefully, like get you into a very successful and happy professional life. And then last bit about the learning culture. So because I guess some of the people may wonder, so why did you switch after that, after all those years? For me, it has actually to do with this learning culture and this desire of making people enthusiastic about topics, especially technical topics. And that is exactly what the platform for technology does. So that's my new employer. So they have all types of, sorry, that's my ICT project, but this is the, so they have all these kind of programs for primary school kids, high school, vocational students, and they work together with all types of companies inside the Netherlands to help them to also have a learning culture inside their specific organizations. And I really was very inspired with that, that mindset. So that is why I decided to switch when they offered me a position in this particular organization. So for me, what the platform Talent for Technology is doing is basically sort of a sum of all of my career elements that I gathered over the past years. So with that, Anastasia, that was all I had for the moment. So yeah, I don't know if people have any questions or...
Thank you, Alejandra. It was really interesting, especially how you separated the different skills that might be required and how you changed the height of the bars, on the histogram after like 5, 10, 11 years in the company, what became the priority. So probably here I have to ask, do we have any questions? Because I do have few. Шановні слухачі, хто сьогодні був з нами, чи є у вас якісь питання? Можна українською, я перекладу до того, що ви побачили. Окей, якщо немає, то я задам кілька питань, які мене цікавлять, як людина, яка теж почала працювати в Шлюмберже після університету одразу, але університет я закінчила в Україні, тому моє питання, власне, буде на цю тему. Окей, Alejandra, I have few questions to you. I'm really interested because I have very similar path as you have. I also joined company I also joined company in December 2007, but I still be on the technical position because I'm on the remote location. Nothing happens here. But in any case, I have a really interesting question for me, particularly after you graduated from university. Did you feel prepared for the first job? Or after you joined Schlumberger or any other organization, you felt that probably you had to learn something else than you were a student? Like, did you miss something? Did you lack something, some kind of skills or some kind of knowledge, or what would you do different?
So for me, when I joined my first employer, the EAGE, I was still studying, which again is something you should not do. So I had not yet finished my master thesis. So I certainly didn't feel ready for the job I was doing at that time. It was also, like completely different. It was not technical at all. So when I finally got my degree and started at SLB, I really felt that I studied in Utrecht University, which has a curriculum which is very academic, right? So it's not applied. It's very, like my master thesis was about plate tectonics, right? So, I did not feel that my study had prepared me for a career in SLB, period. I mean, that I literally learned, of course, the concepts of geology, and of course, and research thinking and problem solving, of course. And let's not give Utrecht University a bad name, but in terms of applying that knowledge into actual real life problems, I had not done that at university. And I was very happy that SLB was able to, well, provide that on the job, basically. So I always say that if I could go back in time, I absolutely would still study geoscience, but then I might have done my bachelor degrees in Utrecht and maybe my master degrees in Delft, which is much more applied science, or it's more applied geosciences. Because again, when I started doing my studies, I really had in mind that I wanted to be an academic. That was like in my head, like, I'm going to be a professor. That's when my first year in geoscience was like, I'm going to be a professor. And during the years, it became very, very clear that I was absolutely not an academic at all. And that I was much more suited for a corporate environment. So that was also a learning moment. And funny enough, and that those kind of things you only understand when you look back, never in the moment. When I was finishing my master thesis, my master, the professor that was my how do you say that?
Yeah, Anastasia, the
The
professor
guide,
who,
the head professor
yeah,
doing my where I was working with.
who's your like mentor or something. Yep.
Exactly, yeah. So he said to me, Alejandra, you are not a real geologist. And at that time, it really, like hurt me like a knife, like, oh, how can he say that? And I'm not a geologist. What did he mean by that? And for years and for years and for years, I was really traumatized by that comment. And what he wanted to say, and maybe he could have said it slightly different, is that he saw that I was a people's person, that I get my joy of working with people, interacting with people, whether that is on geology, whether that's on petrol, whether that's on, making sales propositions. For me, the crucial part is people. And he saw that I was not somebody who would get joy of, like spending the rest of her life, doing research in a lab, because that's not the type of person I am. So sometimes people tell you things and you're like, no, that's not true. But actually, they have seen it earlier than you have seen it yourself.
Okay, that's really interesting. Actually, it reminds me myself. I also was thinking of the career of the scientist somewhere in the Switzerland, like getting the postgraduate education or something. I have never thought that I'll join something like a service company. So, yeah, so another question. What do you think helped you the most from what you learned in university? I don't know, the theory, some soft skills like networking, some ability to work under pressure. I don't know.
Mhm. I think that in university, what I learned the most was collaboration. I think that because we had quite a lot of team projects as well. Um, and of course, field work. I mean, when you're doing field work, that is part of the collaboration, that forging that team spirit. That is something that I really learned at university, and that skill set has helped me a lot. From a technical perspective, it's just the problem solving, right? I mean, whether it was in stratigraphy or in geophysics or anything, I mean, you get a problem and you just solve it. Find out, just figure it out. How are you going to solve the puzzle? And the curiosity of solving puzzles, that has also been like the red line in all of the career positions that I've had. because if you don't like problem solving, I don't really see how you can, succeed in our industry, right? Or in any industry, any technical industry, right? I mean, we like to solve puzzles.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. And the last question, since I still work in SLB, would you like to get back to SLB one day, or you decided to completely switch the work path?
Well, they said that the door was always open if I would ever change my mind. So I will keep them to that promise if if it ever comes to that situation. At this moment, when you see the type of projects that the platform technology is doing, and they work, of course, in a much broader, with much different type of technologies, I'm like, my goodness, there is still so many other subjects, topics, that I could dive into. For example, my current main project is about human capital, so talent for cybersecurity, right? I mean, in SLB, we were taught about cybersecurity, let's say from a generic point of view, and we had discussions about cybersecurity with customers, but I never, looked into the subject really deeply, or what type of people or what kind of profiles you need. And now that I'm being exposed to that, I'm like, wow, like that's also a wonderful world. So I feel like there are so many other wonderful worlds that I still need to discover, that I don't really see why I should go back to the same place where I spent 17 years of discovering. So I don't know. At this
Okay,
moment,
it's not for a record. It's only for internal
no,
record.
no. For me, it's at this moment, I don't see me returning now.
As SPE member, I cannot omit this question. So, did you participate in any kind of organizations then you were in the university, like SPE?
No,
Some
and that
other.
is the funny thing, right? So when I when I started at the EAGE, one of the first jobs I had within the EAGE was to set up student chapters, right? And I was like, I didn't even know that this association existed as EAGE. And then, of course, when I switched to SPE, which was more active in the Netherlands, also at our school, we did not have that we didn't know that it existed. And it's only because I then started to talk to Utrecht University and, like the professors, and trying to get them to form a student chapter for the SPE and the EAGE, that something happened, right? But I didn't have any exposure to that. And I really feel that that's such a pity, because I've seen how much fun and how much, like benefits students have had of being involved in the SPE. So yeah.
Okay, and the very last thing I wanted to ask you. So actually, it's not about the previous experience, or actually, it's about previous experience. But what would you recommend to those students who just graduated, or who will graduate this year, next year? The master student, the last year bachelor students, how they can apply their skills? What would you suggest them to do to find the right place to work? Basically, not only join the largest organization, but maybe try to find something that they really will enjoy based on their skills, I don't know, their preferences. Do you have any recommendations? What might work and might help?
So for me, the only way of really understanding if you're a fit to a certain company is by networking. So getting to know as many people as you can within that organization who have also different roles. So not only the direct technical people that, or people in technical roles that you may aspire, but also managers or team leads or the finance people of that company, because that's the only way that you can understand the culture, right? just to give you an example, when I had to decide, I received the offer from my new employer, I still was, I was still struggling. Like, should I take it? Should I do it? Yes, yes, no. And then I said, can I spend 2 hours in your office? Just be there and see what they were, as if I was not there, right? I was just observing, just literally absorbing the energy in that office. And once I was there and I saw how they treated each other, what kind of conversations they had, the way that they, led a meeting, like how was that, how was everybody participating? I was like, I'm gonna feel like, in a warm bath. And after a month, I can tell you, I was right with that feeling. So I'm very much of a intuition person, right? So I feel it in my stomach if I belong somewhere or if I not belong there. And the only way of doing or knowing that if you are not yet in that organization is just to talk to people. And also, even if you talk to people and then the culture is, let's say, 50% you're okay with it and 50% you're maybe not okay with it, if you still think it's worth trying, just go for it, because organizations can also, change because you're there. And I strongly believe that. I mean, like, I am Alejandra, like at home and at work. I don't have two faces, right? You get this. This is what you get when you have to deal with me. So if you can be your authentic self, if you can just show up as the person that you are, if there are certain things in the company culture that, are not to your liking, then you're the first one to change them, right? To have the right ideas, to have, like a positive change impact. That's why I say change management. Change management. That's a very important skill to acquire. No, but seriously, so talk to people and try to get a feel of the company. And also, and that is when it comes to CVs, one thing is that you put all the things that you studied, etc. But employers want to know what you can do. That is something, for example, that in my current project with the cybersecurity talents, that's what employers tells us. People have whatever, diploma in ICT, master in cybersecurity, but when I want to hire them, I still have no clue if in 1 month time I can, put them to work there, or I have to put them to work there, or I have to put them to work there. So if you as a student can really articulate that and say, I can do this, and that, or I have experience in doing this teamwork, or I did this hackathon, or I don't know, make it more explicit. Make it more explicit what you can do. And it's not bragging, right? It's not like, oh, look at me, I'm so good. No, it's really, you have you have a value, you have a personal value, and every company that welcomes you in should be very happy with the value that you bring. So understanding your value, I know that when you're just a finishing student, that can be a very difficult exercise to say, what is my value? But everybody has a value. And the clearer you can put it on paper, the easier it is for recruiters to, to invite you into their organizations.
Okay, so I think that was the last question from me. I really hope that we can share the video recording with those people who had no chance to join us today, because I think it was really inspiring. And what I still, maybe someone's have a question. No? Okay, so no questions. That means that we are finishing our call today. Once again, thank you a lot for joining us. I think it was really interesting. And I personally really enjoyed this conversation. So
I
it
will
was
send
really
you
interesting to listen to your like work path, how you joined it, everything, what you think about the Slumberger. And yeah, I really hope that we'll be able to like invite you even more after you'll work for more than 1 month in your organization to share some secrets with us.
No. Then I mean, a year from now, I will be able to at least to give you a more things about talent development and learning culture. That's for sure. So you can write me up from 1 year from now, Anastasia.
Okay, so I started to count. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us
Yes,
today.
you too. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye. Дякую всім, хто був з нами на дзвінку. Всім гарного, безпечного дня і до побачення, до нових зустрічей. Олег, я думаю, можна закінчувати запис.